Maruti is out with its second quarter earnings. Net profit has come in at around 3,000 crore versus an estimated number of 3,710 crore. Revenues have come at around 37,000 crore versus an estimate of 37,200 crore. But to give us more perspective on this one, we are being joined by Puneet Javeri. Till he's there to join us, let's look on to more about what the Maruti Q2 earnings are. Well, in terms of margin has come in at around 11.9% versus an estimate of 12.7%. Let's look at the stock right now. Well, the stock is down about 3% as we are talking right now. We'll clearly see that Maruti numbers has disappointed the street over here. But when we look at the kind of returns which the stock has given over the last 1 month, well, the stock is down about 16%. And the auto sector as a whole as well is down with Hero MotoCorp, Eicher as well weighing down on the index. But in terms of the last 6 months return, the company, the share has given negative 12% return. But moving back to the second quarter earnings, well, we have Puneet who is joining us with more details. Puneet, how are the numbers looking like?
Well, thanks for that. So, let's look at the current numbers as we've spoken about it. The estimates were about 37,229 odd crores in this particular quarter was expected to come in at. It's slightly around that number, but yes, much lower than that. EBITDA also was expected around 4,712 crores in this particular quarter according to Bloomberg estimates. Margins were expected to come in at around 12.7%, as you rightly said, Rucha, and net profits were expected to come in around 3,710 crores. So we do know that the volume growth in this particular quarter had been subdued, just about a 2 to 3% growth, which is what the company had reported in Q2 of FY25. And specifically, when you look at the next quarter, the company had expected, has mentioned in the October briefing as well to the media that specifically for the month of October, the sales had been, better, but they were expecting a much better performance in H2. So the pressure of volume growth has shifted to the second half of the fiscal year, and that's one of the key things that we will be looking at as well. So we have the media briefing scheduled today at 2:30. We'll be quizzing the management on that, as well as the analyst call at 5 p.m. But essentially, these numbers, these are decent numbers, but we'll deep dive into this and get back.
Got that. Thanks for that, Puneet. But let's dive a little bit more into the Maruti earnings. Well, we can get a more clear sense of the numbers right now. Well, deferred tax expenses came in at about 1,000 crore this time versus 67 crore same time last year. And this is why net profit is impacted significantly. The net profit is also impacted because of higher total tax expenditure, which came in at about 2,030 crore versus around 1,080 crore on a YOY basis, and net profit is therefore impacted and is down about 17%. But we are being joined by Neeraj. Neeraj, what's your take on the results?
No, clearly there is a bit of a concern here. I wish Puneet would still be there. If Puneet is there, okay, yeah. So we'll try and get the internals going as well. But one thing that the auto sector didn't need was a weaker hand from Maruti, because there's already concern of there being larger inventory in the system, which will ensure that the festive season is not necessarily that good. Now, what we needed was at least results for the quarter gone by to be okay. What we definitely need is for commentary to be okay as well. I wonder if there is any kind of respite at all. Are there some initial comments, Puneet, that have come out which might have an impact on what Maruti does in the festive quarter?
Well, we did speak about the volume growth that's not been coming in this particular quarter, and that was the key concern. So going into this particular results, we had expectation that the margins were going to be lower than last year, and that's what's come. So it's coming at around 11.9%. Last year, they reported 13.5% margins in this particular quarter, and that's also led because of Diwali being a different quarter. So Diwali shifted now in this particular quarter, and the one other factor that I wanted to highlight was Onam was very weak in this particular quarter as well. So Onam, there was expectation of better performance from Kerala, especially from the entry-level market, and that has not come in. And in this particular quarter as well, when we had spoken to the management previously as well in media briefings, they had highlighted that the demand on the ground for entry-level cars hasn't been there. while the other factor that they are betting on is better performance in the second half, and that's the impetus on volume growth essentially in the second half. That's a concern that is highlighted in Tata Motors as well. If you can pull up the stock, we have seen that it's under pressure, and it's largely on the inventory concerns of the company as well. So while Mahindra has been doing very well in terms of volume growth and results expected next week, but for Maruti specifically, the higher tax expenses, the one-time tax expense is one of the key things that's been a key issue. We'll get back on more of those details, but we did know about the volume picture being very subdued in this particular quarter.
Right, thanks for that, Puneet. As you rightly mentioned, stock is under pressure, down about 4%, the lowest since February. But that's all that we have on the show for now. Do stay tuned to NDTV Profit. Lots more action on the other side.